Hey New Orleans, JP here. I kind of wanted to give you an update on what's going on with the court case. For those of you who don't know, this is my buddy Chewy. We just came and finished a walk. He's a little anxious, so he's gonna hang out with us while I do this update. So I want to start, before I get into the court case itself, I want to talk about the background of the court case. For those of you who don't know, the city of New Orleans, both the council and the mayor, and the public school board reached a settlement in a $150 million case in October, September of last year. Unbeknownst to us, the mayor decided spontaneously in January to not go through with the settlement, which created a tremendous amount of turmoil with our teachers, our students, and our schools going forward. We discovered that when the mayor just spontaneously said, "I'm not doing it." We had a meeting in January where both the CAO and the CFO basically showed up and said that the city was broke and we couldn't afford to pay for anything, spending was out of control, yada, 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 but they couldn't present any evidence of it. During the course of that very lengthy hearing, the council asked the chief financial officer, the head of our finance department, Rami Samuel, directly, "Are you saying that we note austerity are things that bad?" And she doubled down under oath and said, "Absolutely, we're about to go broke, spending's out of control." So the council passed the travel ban. The intention of the travel ban was not to target the mayor. I know it's what the media focused on, but the travel ban applied to every level of government. It applied to the mayor, the city council, all the department heads. Everyone in the government could not travel unless it met certain criteria. It also restricted the mayor from buying new cars and doing other things that city departments shouldn't be doing while we're in dire fiscal straits. As many of you know at home, if you are in dire financial straits, you don't go to Disney World. That's basically what we were trying to do with government. Now, after we passed that ordinance, what was very important is the mayor did not veto it. It became law through passage of time, and we all operated under the assumption the travel ban was in effect, which is now what's important about having a public hearing and a veto is that those things are free. Basically, the veto is part of the normal processes. The public hearing happens in the public chambers where you can all come and see what's going on, everybody's explanations, and it's free. The mayor that says we broke spent money hiring 4 lawyers to protect her publicly funded travel. That was unusual. Now about the case itself, the ruling is kind of beyond problematic. There's a host of different arguments in there brought by the mayor's attorneys, by our attorney, dealing with a variety of different issues, separation of power, the council's budget authority, and the like. What was jarring is that the argument that the judge latched upon in making this decision, that argument relies upon zoning law and says that in order for the council to do anything temporary, we have to funnel or filter that decision through zoning law. The judge's ruling now says that anything we do that is temporal in nature has to be treated like a zoning ordinance. Let me tell you why this ruling is so absurd. It would be like if we had a company we bought hand soap for, and that hand soap company, we found out that they potentially sponsor terrorism and do experimentation on dogs. No offense, Chewy. And we as a council said, we're gonna pause this contract with this hand soap company. We're gonna pass a resolution or ordinance pausing it for a certain period of time until we figure out what's going on. It would be like if the CEO of that hand soap company showed up to our council chambers and said, "Hey guys, I have the same rights as Miss Smith who's opening up a bar or a restaurant in the Bywater. You have to give me the right to appeal," and so on and so on and so forth. That's absurd. It's absurd and ridiculous. And when you guys were voting on a charter in 1996 or 7 or whatever, you weren't doing that to limit our authority to do budgets. You were doing that to expand our authority regarding zoning. This decision's really bad. It's really bad. It's nonsense. It's weird in that it kind of gave us a weird path forward. They kind of left open the door that if we made the travel ban permanent, which is an option, and made it more restrictive of travel in the city of New Orleans, we could do that without having to go through that process. That would be a burden on a lot of different departments, but certainly if we're facing dire financial straits, it's something we'll have to look at. The other option, which is even more bizarre and kind of silly and stupid, is that we could create a travel ban using our zoning authority. I could, I guess, based on this judge's kind of silly ruling, I could drop an interim zoning district, an interim zoning travel ban district. I could drop that zoning district over all public buildings, over both the airports, the train station, the bus station, and say, hey, if you're a city employee at any of these locations, you can't travel, which seems very onerous and kind of ridiculous, but that's how ridiculous this ruling is. Next steps. Obviously, no matter what, we're going to have to appeal the ruling because it basically breaks the charter. It limits the council's authority in a very bizarre way that will not just hurt this council, it'll hurt future councils and our ability to hold departments to transparency or pause the budget when we have dire budget straits. We have the alternative of moving forward in the four corners of kind of what's left to us, but I don't know if that's going to work. We're going to look at it because the travel ban's important, because it establishes that we as a council believe that when we're broke, according to the mayor, she shouldn't be going to Disneyland or other optional things, but that's something we'll have to look at. The travel ban is not about the mayor. What the travel ban was really about was the city council holding government and itself to account, saying that we cannot in the same breath, while telling everyone we're too broke to take care of our schools, our teachers and our students and to meet our obligations, that travel is equally important. It's not important. Whether it's the mayor, whether it's department heads, whether it's council members, whether it's our staffs, it's hella inconvenient to not be able to go to conferences that could make our staff smarter. But if we're going to tell you and tell your families that we can't keep schools solvent because we owe the school board $150 million in a judgment for illegal fees, we reach a settlement in good faith, you can't back out of it saying we're broke while you're taking junkets every weekend and flying to DC twice in a month. It just doesn't make sense. It's disrespectful, and it disregards the intelligence of the people of the city. This lawsuit is about more than just a travel ban. It's about the council not laying down while these courts work over and over again to enable the bad behavior of our chief executive and to create precedents that are going to hurt future councils and make mayors even more powerful. I do want to make everyone aware there will be an Ask JP this week, a new one. It's a short one, but it deals with the time the BZA almost broke the entire city of New Orleans and exposed us to short-term rental like explosions left and right. And I think it's really important to kind of give some background on how all these various departments around the city, all these different commissions, they make decisions that can really negatively affect your life if you're not paying attention. The council caught what was going on and fixed it, but I think it's important for people to know just how important electing a mayor is, because if you elect the wrong mayor, elect the wrong councils, you can have a whole lot of stuff happen behind the scenes without someone paying attention to fix it. So that'll be out later this week. Look forward to it. Follow us on all the different social media links below, and thanks for watching. So if you're still here, that means you're a nerd who watches too many Marvel movies and you want a little extra. So this is some extra credit for all of you out there. The two other cases the mayor's talking about, she references, I think they're kind of interesting. Neither of those cases are brought by the mayor. They're brought by two of the frequent flyers of controversy in the city of New Orleans. The first case deals with a contract the mayor tried to slip Charles Rice. For those of you who remember Charles Rice, he is the former CEO of Entergy, who astroturfed the council and the public to build a power station in New Orleans East that didn't work during Ida, and that we'll all be paying for through the 2030s. She tried to slip him a contract to represent the city in the Municipal Retirement Association's litigation, and the contract had problems. He actually wasn't on the documentation we had as the individual that won it, and when we repeatedly asked the city attorney to explain how he got the contract, they couldn't. So for that and a variety of reasons, the council did not ratify that contract, because the council, per the charter, has the ability to approve or not approve special counsel. I do think it's a little problematic that the mayor and the city attorney have kind of thrown their lot in with Mr. Rice over this contract. It's obvious it had problems the city attorney couldn't address, but more importantly, I think it's the wrong message to say to citizens and ratepayers that someone who was linked to a large fine and a multi-level defrauding of the city in regard to the power plant should be getting city work, but that's between the mayor and the city attorney. The second case, which many of you are familiar with, is Troy Henry's efforts to get the trash contract. He got kind of a sweetheart deal from a judge who basically ruled in his favor and said the council doesn't have the ability to really do anything. And if the mayor wants to award a trash contract that is wholly problematic, where a prime can switch subs to get away from their DBE responsibilities, where they can change the value of the contract after the contract's awarded, that the council should have no say in it. These are cases where it's very important for the council to show you, as ratepayers and citizens, that despite the fact the mayor has checked out, we haven't. And these aren't the last fights we're going to have. At the tail end of a mayor's term, you're going to see a lot of very interesting contracts try to get passed. And the council is going to be more vigilant than ever, making sure that any contracts that are passed that tie the city's hands, tie you as ratepayers and citizens and taxpayers to different companies for years on end, that they're all above board. So I can tell you honestly, for those of you out there who are paying attention, this isn't the end of the battle with the mayor over contracting. It's more than likely the beginning. Thanks so much for watching. Please follow us, and all the social links follow below, and that's how you'll get the information about more videos like this, as well as future upcoming episodes of Ask JP.